The training room smelled like sweat and metal. Yuna Kim wiped her face with a towel and looked at the other cadets. Most of them were aliens. Big ones, small ones, some with scales and some with fur. She was one of only 15 humans in the entire Galactic Coalition Military Academy. She didn't mind being alone. Yuna preferred it that way. She trained quietly, ate her meals quickly, and kept her head down. Nobody bothered her, and she bothered nobody. That was how she wanted things to stay. The academy was huge. Thousands of cadets from hundreds of different species all trained together. They learned to fight, to fly ships, to work as teams. The idea was simple. The galaxy was dangerous, and the coalition needed soldiers who could work together. But not everyone believed in working together. Yuna pulled her uniform jacket tighter around her shoulders. The fabric covered a tattoo on her left shoulder blade. She never let anyone see it. It was a black serpent coiled around 7 stars, with words written beneath in old Earth script. The tattoo was her secret, a memory of her father who died 5 years ago. "Hey, soft skin." Yuna turned around. 3 Vrelian cadets stood behind her. Vrelians were big, almost 8 feet tall, with dark green scales and yellow eyes. They looked like dinosaurs that learned to walk on 2 legs. Most Vrelians were decent people, but these 3 were known troublemakers. The leader was Carveth. He was the biggest and the meanest. His scales had scars from fights, and he liked to push around smaller species. "I'm talking to you, human," Carveth said. His voice was deep and rough. "I heard you," Yuna said calmly. "What do you want?" "Respect," Carveth growled. "You walked past me in the hallway yesterday and didn't bow." Yuna raised an eyebrow. "Nobody bows in the hallways." "That's not a rule." "It's my rule," Carveth said. He stepped closer. "Humans are weak. You're only good for fixing ships and typing on computers. You should show respect to real warriors." Yuna said nothing. She'd heard this kind of talk before. Many aliens thought humans were soft and fragile. They thought Earth's gravity was weak, that human bones broke easily, that human soldiers couldn't fight. They were wrong. But Yuna didn't feel like explaining. "I don't want trouble," she said quietly. "Too bad," Carveth laughed. "You've got it anyway." Before Yuna could move, Carveth's hand shot out and grabbed her equipment bag. "What's in here?" "Ration credits." "Give them to me." "No," Yuna said. Carveth's eyes narrowed. "What did you say?" "I said no." The other cadets in the training room started to notice. Some stopped their exercises to watch. A small alien with cat-like features, a Philesian named Whisper, watched from the corner with wide, frightened eyes. Carveth's lips pulled back, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Wrong answer, Softskin." He swung his hand in a fast, brutal backhand slap. The hit was hard. Yuna's head snapped to the side, and she flew backward, crashing into a rack of training equipment. Metal bars clattered to the floor around her. Pain exploded across her face, and she tasted blood in her mouth. Carveth laughed. His 2 friends joined in. "That's what happens when you disrespect me," Carveth said loudly, making sure everyone could hear. "Humans are nothing." "Weak little," he stopped. Yuna was standing up, slowly. Her uniform jacket was torn at the shoulder from where she hit the equipment. The fabric hung loose, revealing part of her skin and part of her tattoo, the black serpent. 3 of the 7 stars. The edge of ancient writing. Carveth stared at it. "What's that?" "A tattoo?" He laughed again. "Did you draw that yourself, Softskin?" "How cute." But someone else had seen it too. Commander Thrall stood in the doorway. He was a Cronin, a species with 4 eyes and gray, rock-like skin. Thrall was old, with scars covering his arms and face. He'd fought in wars before most cadets were even born. His 4 eyes were locked on Yuna's shoulder. All four eyes were wide open, wider than anyone had ever seen. 7 stars, Thrall whispered. His voice shook. That's impossible. Carveth didn't notice the commander. He was too busy enjoying himself. He reached out and grabbed Yuna by the throat, lifting her off the ground with one hand. What's wrong, little human? Can't breathe? Carveth squeezed. Yuna's hands moved so fast that nobody saw exactly what happened. 1 second, Carveth was holding her in the air. The next second, his arm bent at a wrong angle, and he was on his knees. Screaming in pain, Yuna landed on her feet, light and balanced. Her eyes were cold and hard. She looked completely different from the quiet cadet who kept to herself. Stand down! Commander Thrall's voice boomed through the training room like thunder. Everyone froze. Thrall never shouted. He was always calm, always in control. But now he looked almost scared. He walked toward Yuna carefully, like she was a dangerous weapon that might explode. Cadet Kim, Thrall said slowly. May I see your shoulder? All of it? Yuna hesitated. She looked around the room. Every cadet was watching. Whisper's ears were flat against her head. Carveth was still on his knees, holding his bent arm, his face twisted in pain and confusion. Finally, Yuna pulled her torn jacket aside. The complete tattoo was revealed. A serpent coiled around 7 stars. Beneath it, words in Earth's old language. Ghost Protocol, Alpha 7. The room went completely silent. Commander Thrall's mouth opened and closed. His 4 eyes blinked rapidly. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely a whisper. Carveth, he said. Do you know what you just did? Carveth looked up, confused and angry. I hit a human, so what? You hit someone with the Alpha Force mark, Thrall said. Do you understand what that means? Carveth's yellow eyes went wide. His 2 friends stepped back, their faces showing fear. That's not possible, one of them said. Alpha Force is a myth. Just propaganda from the Void War. I was in the Void War, Thrall said coldly. I fought against humans when they were losing. I watched my entire battalion get destroyed in one night by 7 human soldiers. 7 ghosts who appeared from nowhere, killed everything, and vanished. We never saw their faces. We only saw their tattoos. The serpent with 7 stars. He pointed at Yuna. That tattoo. Each member of Alpha Force had one. They were the most dangerous soldiers in the galaxy. They ended the war by breaking our armies from the inside. We surrendered because we were more afraid of Alpha Force than we were of dying in battle. Yuna wiped blood from her lip. Her face showed no emotion. I'm not a member of Alpha Force, she said quietly. My father was. He had the rank Alpha 7. He taught me everything before he died. She looked down at Carveth, who was staring at her with new fear in his eyes. And the first thing he taught me, Yuna continued, was this: never start a fight. But always finish it. Suddenly, alarms screamed throughout the academy. Red lights flashed. An automated voice spoke over the speakers. Code Black. Code Black. Hostile fleet detected in outer system. Vrelian separatist forces approaching. All cadets report to evacuation stations. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. The training room erupted in chaos. Cadets ran in every direction. Instructors shouted orders. Carveth looked up at Yuna, his face pale under his green scales. The Vrelian separatists were his own people. Radical extremists who hated the coalition and wanted to restart the war. And they were coming here. Commander Thrall's communicator buzzed. He listened for a moment, and his face went hard. They're demanding we surrender all human cadets, he said. They say humans are war criminals. They want trials. Yuna knew what that meant. Not trials, executions. The Separatists wanted to kill humanity's future soldiers before they could become threats. She touched her tattoo through her torn uniform. Her father's voice echoed in her memory. "We fight to win, always." "Commander," Una said, "how long until our defense fleet arrives?" 3 hours, Thrall said grimly. "We'll never last that long." Una looked toward the armory doors. "Then I guess we'll have to make them think we can," she said. The evacuation sirens screamed through the academy's halls. Cadets ran in every direction, some crying, others shouting orders. Instructors tried to maintain control, pushing students toward the underground bunkers. Una walked against the crowd. While everyone else ran toward safety, she headed toward the armory. "Cadet Kim, where are you going?" Commander Thrall grabbed her arm. "To get weapons," Una said simply. "Absolutely not. You need to evacuate with the others." Una pulled her arm free gently but firmly. "Commander, the Separatists came for humans. They'll get one, but not the way they expect." Thrall stared at her. In his 4 eyes, she saw the same look he'd had when he saw her tattoo. Fear, but also something else. "Hope, maybe." "Your father trained you," Thrall said. "But you're one person. One cadet." "My father fought entire armies," Una replied. "He taught me how." Before Thrall could respond, 2 more humans appeared beside Una. One was a thin boy with glasses and nervous hands. The other was a girl with short hair and oil stains on her uniform. "We're going with her," the boy said. His name was Jiho Park. He was a tech specialist, the best in his class at hacking systems and breaking codes. The girl was Ariam Choi. She trained as a pilot and flew better than cadets twice her age. "Our parents fought in the Void War too," Ariam said. "They taught us the same things they taught her. How to survive. How to fight dirty. How to win when everything says you should lose." Thrall looked at the 3 humans. They were young. Too young. But their eyes held something ancient, something hard. These weren't normal cadets. They were children raised by survivors of the worst war the galaxy had ever seen. They'd been trained since birth by paranoid parents who never wanted their kids to be helpless. "I can't authorize this," Thrall said. "You don't have to," Una replied. "Just don't stop us." A small voice spoke from behind a storage crate. "I want to help too." Whisper stepped out. The small Felician was shaking, her cat-like ears flat against her head. But she stood straight, trying to look brave. "You protected me from Carveth before," Whisper said to Una. "I can help. Felicians have better senses than most species. I can hear things, smell things others can't." Una looked at the frightened alien. "This will be dangerous." "I know," Whisper whispered, "but I'm tired of being scared. Teach me to be brave like you." Una nodded slowly. "All right. Stay close to me." Commander Thrall's communicator buzzed again. He listened, and his face grew darker. "The Separatist fleet has surrounded the Academy," he said. 40 ships. They're demanding we open our shields and surrender all humans within the hour, or they'll start bombing the Academy. "How many fighters do we have?" Una asked. 20 training fighters, unarmed. The real military ships are locked in the secure hangar, and we don't have access codes. Jiho pushed his glasses up his nose. "I can get those codes. Give me 10 minutes with a terminal." "Even with armed ships, we're outnumbered 20 to 1, Thrall said. "This is suicide." Una walked to the armory door and pressed her palm against the lock. It beeped red, denying access. "Jiho," she said. The tech specialist pulled out a small device and connected it to the lock. His fingers flew across the screen. 5 seconds later, the door clicked open. Inside the armory, weapons lined the walls. Rifles, pistols, grenades, armor. Everything a soldier needed. Yuna went straight to a locked cabinet in the back. She pressed her thumb against the scanner, and it opened. Inside was a single knife. It looked old, the handle worn from use. But the blade gleamed like it was brand new. "My father's combat knife," Yuna said quietly. "The Academy kept it in storage after he died. I've been waiting for the right time to claim it." She strapped the knife to her belt and started loading weapons into a bag. "Commander," she said while she worked, "we can't win a straight fight. But we don't have to. We just need to make them think we can." "I don't understand," Thrall said. Yuna pulled out a small device from her pocket. It looked like a normal data chip, but when she activated it, holographic screens appeared in the air. "Before my father died, he gave me this," she explained. "It's encrypted files from Alpha Force, tactics, strategies, psychological warfare techniques. Everything they used to win the Void War." Jiho's eyes went wide. That's the most valuable military data in human history. "And I'm going to use it," Yuna said. She pulled up a file labeled Ghost Protocol. The holographic screen showed a simple plan. It wasn't about fighting harder or having better weapons. It was about making the enemy afraid, making them see ghosts where none existed, making them believe they were already defeated. "We're going to convince the Separatists that Alpha Force never left," Yuna said. "That all 7 members are here right now, defending the Academy." "But that's impossible," Thrall protested. "Alpha Force disbanded 25 years ago. Most people think they're dead." "Exactly," Ariam said, catching on. "Which means the Separatists will believe it. They'll be too scared to think straight." Jiho was already typing on his device. "I can hack their communications. Plant fake sensor readings. Make it look like there are 7 highly trained soldiers moving through the Academy. I can help with the visual," Ariam added. "We've got training footage in the Academy archives. Old war recordings. I can edit them to make it look like Alpha Force is here." Yuna nodded. "Whisper, you'll be our eyes and ears. Listen for enemy movements. Tell us where they are before they know where we are." The small Felician straightened up. "I can do that." "This is insane," Thrall muttered. But he was smiling slightly. "Your father would be proud. Or horrified. Maybe both." "Probably both," Yuna agreed. Jiho's device beeped. "I'm in. I've got access to the Separatist communication network. What do you want me to send?" Yuna thought for a moment. Then she smiled. It was a cold smile, the same one her father used to have. "Send them a message. No words, just a video. Show them our tattoos." "But we don't have Alpha Force tattoos," Ariam said. "We have mine," Yuna replied. She pulled off her torn jacket, revealing the serpent and 7 stars on her shoulder. "Film this. 7 times. Different angles. Make it look like 7 different people." Jiho worked fast. Within minutes, he had a video ready. It showed 7 figures standing in shadows. Their faces were hidden, but their shoulders were visible. On each shoulder, the same tattoo. The serpent coiled around 7 stars. A voice played over the video. Yuna's voice, but distorted and deepened by Jiho's software. "This is Alpha Force. You have violated protected coalition space. You have threatened our children. Withdraw now, or learn why the Void War ended." "Send it," Yuna ordered. Jiho transmitted the message directly to the Separatist flagship. For a long moment, nothing happened. The Academy's alarms continued to wail. Cadets continued to evacuate. The Separatist fleet continued to surround them. Then Thrall's communicator buzzed. He listened, and his eyes widened. "The Separatists are hesitating," he said, disbelief in his voice. "Their commanders are arguing with each other. Some want to withdraw. Others say it's a trick. Good, Una said. While they argue, we attack. She turned to her small team. A tech specialist with shaking hands. A pilot who'd never seen real combat. A scared alien who wanted to be brave. And herself, a cadet with a dead father's knife and a head full of ghost tactics. Not much of an army, but enough. Ariam, get to the hangar. Get those fighters ready to launch. Armed or not, we're flying them. Geo, I need you to make the Separatists see ghosts everywhere. Fake heat signatures, false cum chatter, anything that makes them paranoid. Whisper, stay with me. We're going to set traps. What kind of traps? The Felician asked. Yun loaded her father's knife with a quiet click. The kind my father taught me. The kind that makes soldiers afraid of shadows. Commander Thrall stepped forward. I'm coming with you. Commander, you should evacuate with the others. No, Thrall said firmly. I fought against Alpha Force once. I lost. I won't miss my chance to fight alongside them. Una looked at him for a long moment, then nodded. The Academy's emergency lights cast red shadows across their faces. Outside, 40 enemy ships waited to destroy them. Inside, 4 cadets and 1 old soldier prepared to make an entire fleet believe in ghosts. Una touched her tattoo one more time. Dad, she whispered. I hope I make you proud. Then she turned to her team. Let's show them why humans don't give up. Ever. The Academy hangar was massive, built to hold hundreds of ships. Right now, it held 20 small training fighters. They weren't designed for real combat. No heavy weapons, thin armor, barely enough power for basic maneuvers. Not perfect for what Una had in mind. These ships will fall apart if we fight seriously, Ariam said, running her hands over one fighter's hull. We're not going to fight seriously, Una replied. We're gonna fight like ghosts. Hit them and disappear. Make them chase shadows. Jiho sat at a computer terminal, his fingers dancing across the keyboard. I've hacked into the secure hangar. Getting the real fighters armed would take too long, but I can unlock the training weapons. Low-power lasers, practice missiles. They won't destroy ships, but they'll damage sensors and communication arrays. That's all we need, Una said. We're not trying to win. We're trying to survive until help arrives. Whisper's ears twitched. I hear something. Heavy footsteps. Multiple sets. Coming from the east corridor. Everyone froze. How many? Una asked quietly. Whisper closed her eyes, concentrating. Her ears swiveled like radar dishes. 15. Maybe 20. Wearing heavy boots. Moving fast. Academy security? Commander Thrall suggested. No, Whisper said, her voice frightened. They smell wrong, like burning metal and fear. Separatists, Una said. They sent a boarding party. Jiho looked up from his terminal. But they're still outside. The shields are up. How did they? An explosion rocked the hangar. Smoke poured from a side entrance. Through the smoke, figures emerged. Large Vrelian soldiers in black combat armor. They carried real weapons, military-grade rifles that could cut through walls. Drop your weapons. The lead soldier shouted. Surrender, and you will be treated according to war protocols. That's a lie, Thrall muttered. They'll execute everyone. Una counted quickly. 20 soldiers. All armed. All trained. Her team had 3 humans, 1 small alien, and 1 old commander. They had training weapons in her father's knife. Terrible odds. Perfect. Jiho, Una whispered. Cut the lights. What? Cut the hangar lights, now. Jiho hit a command. The hangar plunged into darkness. The separatist soldiers activated flashlights on their rifles. Beams of white light swept through the black hangar, searching for targets. Clever humans, the lead soldier called out. But we have night vision. You can't hide. We're not hiding. Yuna's voice came from the darkness. But it came from everywhere at once. Jiho had linked her communicator to the hangar speaker system. We're hunting. A scream cut through the dark. One of the Separatist soldiers fell, clutching his leg. A training laser had burned through his armor joint. Not fatal, but painful. Return fire! Sector 3. The commander shouted. The soldiers opened fire at where the laser came from. Their bullets tore through metal and equipment. But nothing was there. Ariam had fired the shot, then moved immediately. Another scream. Another soldier down. This time from the opposite side of the hangar. They're surrounding us. One soldier yelled. Impossible! There's only a few of them. But in the darkness, with shots coming from multiple directions, it felt like an army. Felt like ghosts. Yuna moved through the shadows like water. Her father had trained her for this. How to use darkness. How to use fear. She didn't have to kill anyone. She just had to make them afraid. She slipped behind a soldier and tapped him on the shoulder. He spun around, rifle raised. Nothing there. He turned back, and Yuna tapped his other shoulder. He spun again, firing wildly. His own team dove for cover. Control yourself. The commander roared, but it was too late. The fear was spreading. Soldiers fired at sounds, at shadows, at nothing. They hit equipment, walls, sometimes each other. Whisper used her natural stealth to move unseen. She didn't fight, but she knocked over tools, scraped claws against metal, made noises that sent soldiers spinning in circles. Commander Thrall, despite his age, moved with practiced efficiency. He disabled soldiers with precise strikes, using techniques from his own military training. He didn't kill. None of them did. They didn't have to. Fear was killing the enemy's discipline all by itself. This is Alpha Force. Yuna's distorted voice echoed through the hangar. You came for our children. Big mistake. Alpha Force is dead. The Separatist commander screamed. But his voice shook. Are they? Jiho's computer screen showed thermal signatures now. Fake ones. 7 heat sources, moving through the hangar in coordinated patterns. Your sensors say otherwise. The Separatist soldiers could see them on their helmet displays. 7 targets. 7 ghosts. Moving like trained killers. It was all fake. Just programming. But in the dark, with their friends falling one by one, the soldiers believed it. Retreat. The commander finally ordered. Fall back to the shuttle. The soldiers ran. Yuna let them go. No point in pushing further. When the hangar lights came back on, 15 Separatist soldiers lay on the ground, unconscious or groaning in pain. Their weapons were scattered. Their armor was damaged but not destroyed. 5 got away, Ariam said, breathing hard. Good, Yuna replied. They'll tell their fleet what they saw. They'll spread the fear. Jiho was already intercepting communications. You were right. The soldiers who escaped are reporting to their ship. They're saying, oh, this is perfect. They're saying they encountered Alpha Force, all 7 members. They say the legends are true. Commander Thrall laughed, a sound of disbelief and admiration. You actually did it. You made them believe. Believing is only the first step, Yuna said. She walked to one of the training fighters and climbed into the cockpit. Now we make them run. Ariam jumped into her own fighter. Jiho reluctantly climbed into a third one. I'm a terrible pilot, Jiho protested. You don't have to fly well, Yuna said. You just have to not crash. Whisper, you're with Commander Thrall. Stay here and keep monitoring communications. Whisper nodded, her ears up and alert. She looked less scared now. More focused. The fighter cockpit sealed. Engines hummed to life. The hangar doors opened, revealing the black space beyond. And the 40 separatist ships waiting there. "This is insane," Jiho muttered over the radio. "Welcome to Alpha Force Tactics," Ariam replied, grinning despite her fear. Yuna took a breath. In her mind, she saw her father sitting beside her, like he used to when she was young, teaching her to fly, teaching her to fight, teaching her to survive. "Always remember," his memory whispered, "a cornered human is the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. Because we don't know when to quit." "All fighters launch," Yuna ordered. 3 small training fighters shot out of the hangar. 40 warships waited to destroy them. The Separatist fleet opened fire immediately. The space around the fighters filled with laser blasts and missiles. It was like flying through a storm of light and death. "Invasive maneuvers," Yuna shouted. "Pattern Delta 7. The 3 fighters split apart, weaving through the incoming fire. They moved in ways that looked random but weren't. Each movement was calculated, based on old Alpha Force tactics stored in Yuna's memory chip. They didn't fly away. They flew toward the enemy. "They're coming right at us," a Separatist captain said over the radio. Jiho had hacked their communications, so Yuna's team could hear everything. "It's a bluff," another captain said. 3 fighters against 40 ships? "They're trying to scare us." "Or they're Alpha Force," a third voice said, frightened. "And they don't care about odds." Yuna fired her training laser at the closest warship. The low-power beam struck the ship's sensor array, frying it. The ship went blind, spinning away from the formation. Ariam targeted another ship's communication antenna. One shot, perfectly placed. The ship couldn't coordinate with its fleet anymore. They weren't destroying ships. They were disabling them, making the fleet confused and scattered. "Spread out," a Separatist commander ordered. "Surround them." The 40 ships broke formation, trying to encircle the 3 fighters. Exactly what Yuna wanted. "Now they're scattered," she said. "Jiho, activate Ghost Protocol Phase 2. Jiho's fingers flew across his cockpit controls. "Sending false sensor data. Now." On every Separatist ship screen, 7 additional fighters appeared. Ghosts. They showed up on radar, on thermal sensors, even on visual displays. But they weren't real. "New contacts," a Separatist officer screamed. 10 fighters total. "No, 15. Where are they all coming from?" The Separatist fleet opened fire on the ghost signals. Lasers and missiles hit empty space. Ships accidentally shot at each other, thinking they were hitting enemies. Chaos spread through the fleet like fire. "This is your last warning," Yuna's distorted voice broadcast to all ships. "Alpha Force is here. We ended one war. We can end you too. Withdraw now." For a moment, the Separatist fleet hesitated. Then a new voice came over the radio. Deep, cold, full of hate. "This is Drakthar, fleet commander of the Vrelian Separatist forces. I fought in the Void War. I know Alpha Force's tricks. You are not them. You are children playing dress-up." A massive ship emerged from behind the fleet. A dreadnought, 3 times bigger than any other ship. Its weapons could destroy the Academy in minutes. "I'm calling your bluff, humans," Drakthar said. "Let's see if you die like legends or like the soft skins you really are." The dreadnought's main cannon began to charge. A weapon meant for destroying planets, aimed at 3 tiny fighters. Yuna's hands tightened on her controls. "All fighters," she said quietly. "Head back to the Academy. Full speed. We're running?" Jiho asked. 200 Vrelian soldiers stood in the hangar. Their weapons were pointed at one small human woman. The odds were impossible. Any sane person would surrender. Yuna had never claimed to be sane. Drakthar walked toward her slowly. Each step made the metal floor shake. His yellow eyes studied her with amusement. I expected better, he said. Alpha Force was legendary. You're just a child with a tattoo. My father was Alpha 7, Una said calmly. He taught me everything he knew before he died. Every tactic, every trick, every way to turn strength against itself. Words, Dracther spat. You humans talk big, but you break easy. He signaled to his soldiers. Take her alive. I want to broadcast her execution across the galaxy. Let everyone see what happens to humans who pretend to be warriors. 20 soldiers advanced on Una. Their rifles were raised but not firing. They wanted to capture her, not kill her. Not yet, Una smiled. It was the same cold smile from before, the one that didn't reach her eyes. You should have shot me when you had the chance, she said. Her hand moved. Fast. She threw something small and metal. It hit the hangar floor and rolled toward the soldiers. They all looked down at it. Grenade. One screamed. The soldiers scattered, diving for cover. But the device didn't explode. It just released a thick cloud of smoke. Within seconds, the entire hangar filled with gray fog. She's running, Dracther roared. After her. Don't let her escape. But Una wasn't running. She was hunting. The smoke was thick enough that even the Vrelian's advanced vision couldn't see through it. They moved in groups, back to back, trying to stay safe. The first soldier went down silently. One moment he was there. The next he was unconscious on the floor. His team didn't even notice until they turned around. Stay together. An officer ordered that another soldier fell. Then another. Quick, precise strikes that left them unconscious, but alive. Una moved through the smoke like a shadow, using every technique her father had taught her. She wasn't stronger than Vrelians. Wasn't faster. But she didn't need to be. She just needed to be smarter. A soldier heard movement behind him and spun around, firing his rifle. The shots hit his own teammate who was standing behind him. Both fell, tangled together. Una had thrown a piece of metal to make a sound. The soldiers were shooting at ghosts again. She's using our fear against us. An older soldier realized. It's a mind game. Then let's end the game, Dracther growled. He pulled out a device and pressed a button. Fans activated throughout the hangar. The smoke began to clear. Within a minute, visibility returned. 50 Vrelian soldiers lay unconscious on the floor. The remaining 150 formed a tight circle, weapons pointing outward. And in the center of the hangar stood Una, breathing hard, her father's knife in her hand. Impressive, Dracther admitted. You took down 50 trained soldiers. But now the smoke is gone. No more hiding. No more tricks. Just you against us. Una wiped sweat from her face. She was exhausted. Her body ached. But she stood straight, refusing to show weakness. I don't need tricks, she said. I just need you to keep making mistakes. What mistakes? Dracther demanded. Una pointed at the hangar ceiling. You brought your entire strike force inside. You abandoned your defensive formation. You let me lead you exactly where I wanted you. Dracther looked up. His eyes widened. The hangar ceiling was covered with magnetic mines. Old training equipment that Jiho had reprogrammed and Ariam had positioned while the soldiers were chasing. Una threw the smoke. Detonate. Una said into her communicator that the mines didn't explode with fire. They released an electromagnetic pulse. Every piece of electronic equipment in the hangar died instantly. Weapons stopped working. Armor systems shut down. The soldiers' helmet displays went dark dot in the confusion. The hangar's manual doors opened. Commander Thrall stood there with a company of Academy security forces. They weren't many, maybe 30 guards, but they had working weapons. Surrender, Thrall ordered. Your weapons are dead. Your fleet is scattered. You've lost. Dracther roared in rage. He ripped off his dead helmet and charged at Una. He didn't need weapons. His claws and teeth were deadly enough. Yuna sidestepped his first swing, then his second. She was faster without armor. She used his momentum against him, making him stumble and crash into equipment. "Stand still!" Drakther screamed. "Never," Yuna replied. She couldn't beat him in direct combat. He was too big, too strong. But she'd learned from her father. You don't fight fair. You fight to win. She led him on a chase through the disabled equipment. He smashed through obstacles, getting more angry and less careful. Finally, he cornered her against a wall. "Nowhere to run now, human," he snarled. "I don't need to run," Yuna said. She pressed something on the wall behind her. The wall was actually a launch tube for repair drones. It activated, creating a powerful suction. Drakther, standing right in front of it, got pulled backward. He grabbed onto a railing, his claws digging into metal. "You think this will hold me?" He roared. "No," Yuna said. "But it'll slow you down." She walked away while he struggled against the suction. The security forces moved in to restrain the other soldiers. Yuna collapsed against a fighter, breathing heavily. Her whole body shook from exhaustion. She'd pushed herself too far. Used every trick she knew. She had nothing left. "Yuna!" Ariam ran to her side. "Medical team is on the way." "The fleet?" Yuna asked. "Still out there," Jiho said, checking his repaired tablet. "But they're confused. Half their commanders are dead or disabled. They're arguing about whether to retreat. Then we need to push them," Yuna said, trying to stand. She stumbled, and Ariam caught her. "You can't even stand," Ariam protested. "You're done. You did enough." Not yet," Yuna gasped. "Have to finish it." Suddenly, Jiho's tablet beeped. Multiple ships just dropped out of hyperspace. Unknown signatures. Commander Threll's communicator crackled to life. "Academy, this is Coalition Defense Fleet. We received your distress call. We're here to..." The voice stopped. "Wait, we're reading 3 additional ships. Not Coalition, not Separatist. Who are they?" On the hangar's emergency screen, 3 ships appeared. They were small, fast, and looked old but well-maintained. Battle-scarred. As they moved, they flew in a formation that only trained military eyes would recognize. Alpha, Force Formation. The ships opened fire on the Separatist fleet. But they didn't use normal weapons. They used precision strikes that disabled engines and weapons without destroying ships. Within minutes, half the Separatist fleet was crippled and drifting. "Impossible," Commander Threll whispered. That's how Alpha Force used to fight." A communication signal came through. An old man's face appeared on the screen. He had scars across his face and gray hair, but his eyes were sharp and hard. "This is Yun Wusong," the man said. "Calsign, Alpha 2. To any Separatist forces still capable of movement, you have 10 seconds to retreat, or we show you what the old generation can still do." 2 more faces appeared beside him. A woman with burned scars. A man missing an eye. Both wore the same tattoo on their shoulders. The Serpent and 7 stars. Alpha 3 reporting. Alpha 6 reporting. Yuna stared at the screen. These people were legends. Ghosts from history. And they were here. The Separatist fleet didn't wait 10 seconds. They jumped to hyperspace immediately, running as fast as their damaged ships could move. The 3 mysterious ships landed in the Academy hangar. The doors opened, and 6 people stepped out. They were older now, wearing civilian clothes. But they moved like soldiers. Walked like warriors. Hien Wusong, Alpha 2, looked around the hangar. At the unconscious Separatist soldiers. At the damaged equipment. At the exhausted cadets. His eyes stopped on Yuna. "You must be Taiho's daughter," he said quietly. Yuna tried to stand straight. Failed. Her legs gave out. And she fell. Hyunwoo caught her before she hit the ground. "Easy, kid," he said gently. "We've got you now." Did I? Yuna's vision was getting blurry. Blood loss. Exhaustion. Her body was shutting down. "Did I finish it?" "Yeah," Hyunwoo said, his voice thick with emotion. "You finished it. Your father would be so proud." The other Alpha Force members gathered around. A woman knelt beside Yuna and checked her wounds. "She's tough," the woman said. "Just like Taiho, she'd be fine." Yuna's eyes closed. The last thing she heard was Hyunwoo's voice. "Get her to medical. And someone contact the other Alpha families. Tell them the next generation is ready. Tell them Taiho's daughter just saved an academy using nothing but his teachings and her own courage." Darkness took Yuna, but it was a peaceful darkness. She'd done it. Defended her academy. Honored her father's memory. Finished the fight. In the distance, sirens wailed. Medical teams rushed in. The coalition fleet secured the area. The academy was safe. And in the hangar, 6 legendary soldiers stood watch over one exhausted cadet who'd just proven that Alpha Force wasn't dead. It was just getting started. 3 weeks passed. Yuna woke up in a medical bed with white walls around her. Machines beeped softly, monitoring her recovery. Her body felt strange. No pain. The burns and cuts were gone, healed by advanced alien medicine. She sat up slowly and looked around. Flowers covered every surface. Messages from cadets she'd never spoken to. Thank you notes from people she'd never met. And sitting in a chair beside her bed was Whisper, curled up and sleeping. "You're awake," a nurse said, a friendly alien with blue skin and 6 arms. "How do you feel?" "Alive," Yuna said. "What happened?" "You were unconscious for 3 weeks. Your body shut down from exhaustion and blood loss. But you're fully healed now. The Academy's best doctors made sure of that." Whisper stirred and opened her eyes. When she saw Yuna sitting up, she jumped to her feet with a happy squeak. "You're awake. I was so worried. I stayed here every day, waiting." Yuna smiled. "Thank you, Whisper." The door opened. Commander Thrall entered, followed by Jiho and Ariam. Both humans looked different now. They stood taller, walked with more confidence. "You missed all the excitement," Ariam said, grinning. "The whole galaxy is talking about what happened here. The Academy is famous now," Jiho added. News stations came from everywhere. They all want to interview the cadets who fought off a separatist fleet. "How did you explain it?" Yuna asked. "We told them the truth," Thrall said. "That 3 human cadets used tactics from the Void War to defend the Academy until help arrived. That you made an entire fleet believe in ghosts. And Carveth?" Yuna remembered the Vrelian who'd started everything. Thrall's expression softened. "He visited while you were unconscious. Left a written apology in blood script. It's a serious gesture in Vrelian culture. He said he was ashamed. That he learned what real strength looks like." The nurse checked Yuna's vital signs and nodded. "You're cleared to leave. But take it easy. No fighting for at least a month." Yuna got dressed in a fresh uniform. As she left the medical bay, she noticed something different. Every cadet she passed stopped and nodded respectfully. Some saluted, even though she outranked nobody. Others just stared in awe. "They know what you did," Whisper explained. "Everyone knows." Commander Thrall led Yuna to a secure conference room deep in the Academy. Inside, 6 people waited. The surviving members of Alpha Force. They looked older in person. Gray hair, scars, tired eyes. But they still moved like warriors. Hyunwoo Song Alpha 2 stood when Yuna entered. "Sit," he said, gesturing to a chair. "We need to talk." Yuna sat. Her hands felt sweaty. These people were legends. They'd saved humanity. And now they were looking at her with serious expressions. Before your father died, Hyungwoo began. He asked us a question. He asked if we'd help train the next generation. Not to make them into us, but to give them the tools to protect themselves. A woman with burn scars spoke next. We said no. We were done with war. Done with fighting. We just wanted peace. But we were wrong, a man with one eye added. The galaxy is still dangerous. And humanity is still seen as weak. What you did here proved we can't just retire and hope things get better. Hyunwoo leaned forward. We've been watching, Yuna. Not just you. All across human space, there are children like you. Children of soldiers who fought in the Void War. Children who were trained to survive, to fight smart, to never give up. We want to bring them together, the burned woman said. Train them properly. Not as child soldiers, but as the protectors humanity needs. We're calling it Alpha Force, Second Wave, Hyunwoo said. It won't be like the original. We were desperate survivors fighting a losing war. Second Wave will be different, stronger, better prepared. And you'll lead them. Yuna stared. Me? Why me? Because you proved what's possible, Hyunwoo said simply. You took down a strike force with 3 cadets and a head full of old tactics. Imagine what you could do with proper training and a real team. Your father kept encrypted files, the one-eyed man said. Everything Alpha Force knew. He gave them to you. That knowledge needs to spread. Other humans need to learn what you learned. Will you accept? Hyunwoo asked. Yuna thought about her father, about his final words before he died from old war wounds. He told her not to live in his shadow, to make her own path, to be better than he was. I'll accept, Yuna said, but on one condition. We don't hide. We don't operate in secret. Alpha Force was born from desperation and fear. Second Wave should be born from hope. From the idea that humanity can stand proud, not just survive in shadows. The room was quiet. The old soldiers looked at each other. Finally, Hyunwoo smiled. Your father would have said the same thing. All right, we do it your way. No more ghosts. No more hiding. Over the next week, preparations began. Commander Thrall worked with coalition officials to create a new special operations program. It would be official, legal, and recognized. Jiho and Ariam were the first to volunteer. Then Whisper asked to join as an honorary member, the first non-human to be part of Alpha Force. My people are small and weak, Whisper said. But you taught me that doesn't matter. You taught me to be brave. I want to help others learn that too. Yuna accepted. Alpha Force was human because humans were the ones desperate enough to try anything. But Second Wave should be for anyone who refuses to give up. More volunteers arrived. Human cadets from across the galaxy. Children of Void War survivors. Young people who'd grown up hearing stories about the 7 soldiers who saved humanity. They were many. Only 20 in total. But they were enough to start. The official ceremony was held in the Academy's main hall. Thousands of cadets attended. News cameras from across the galaxy broadcasted live. Yuna stood on stage with her team. Hyunwoo Song stood beside them, representing the original Alpha Force. 25 years ago, Hyunwoo said to the crowd, 7 desperate humans formed Alpha Force. We did terrible things. Made hard choices. Fought in ways that still give us nightmares. We ended the war, but we paid a price. He turned to Yuna and her team. Today, a new generation steps forward. Not born from desperation, but from hope. Not hiding in shadows, but standing in light. I present to you Alpha Force Second Wave. One by one, each member stepped forward. A medical officer used a special tool to apply their tattoos. not the exact serpent and 7 stars. The new design showed a serpent with 7 stars rising into a constellation, climbing upward. Moving beyond Dodd, when Yuna's turn came, she felt the tool press against her shoulder. The pain was sharp, but quick. When it finished, she looked in a mirror. The old tattoo was still there, her father's legacy, but now a new design wrapped around it. The ascending serpent, past and future, together. The crowd erupted in applause. Even alien cadets clapped. The message was clear. Humans weren't weak softskins anymore. They were warriors who fought smart and never gave up. After the ceremony, Carveth approached Yuna. The big Varelian looked uncomfortable, his eyes downcast. "I wanted to apologize again," he said quietly. "For hitting you. For underestimating you. For everything." Yuna looked at him for a long moment. "You taught me something important." "What?" Carveth asked, surprised. "That even good people can make mistakes when they believe lies about others. You're not a bad person. You just believed what everyone told you about humans. Now you know better." Carveth nodded slowly. "I've been thinking about what I saw, how you fought. I want to learn. Not to join your team, but to understand. To be better. The Academy has instructors for that," Yuna said. "I want to learn from you," Carveth insisted. "Please, let me make up for what I did." Yuna considered it, then nodded. "All right. But you'll work hard. Really hard." "I will," Carveth promised. "I swear it." 6 months later, Alpha Force Second Wave completed their first 3 missions. They rescued colonists from pirates on the edge of known space. They stopped a terrorist group planning to bomb a peace conference. They negotiated a treaty between 2 warring species using what they called aggressive diplomacy. The galaxy watched with mixed feelings. Some feared them. Others respected them. All of them knew humans were not to be underestimated anymore. Yuna stood on the bridge of their new ship, the Serpent's Legacy. It was small but fast, designed for quick strikes and rapid deployment. Jiho and Ariam argued about tactical approaches behind her. Whisper purred while monitoring sensors. Carveth, who joined as a support specialist, quietly organized equipment in the cargo bay. A message came through from Commander Thrall. New mission. Mayan colony on the Outer Rim. Raiders have taken hostages. Local security is overwhelmed. The raiders think humans are easy targets. Yuna smiled. Not the cold smile from before. A different smile. One with warmth in it, confidence, hope. "They always think that," she said quietly. She touched her tattoo. Both tattoos. The old one from her father. The new one from her choice. "Second Wave," she called to her team. "We're moving out. Time to remind the galaxy what we stand for." Ariam grinned. "What's that, boss?" "That humanity doesn't surrender," Yuna said. "We adapt. We overcome. We protect. And we never, ever give up." The ship's engines hummed to life. On the hull, the emblem of Alpha Force Second Wave gleamed in the starlight. A serpent climbing toward the stars. Rising beyond shadows into light dot in her quarters, Yuna kept her father's combat knife mounted on the wall. Beside it, a photo of him in his younger days, wearing the original Alpha Force uniform. He was smiling in the picture. Proud Dot, she touched the photo gently.